With news awash about the Russian firm that is a frontrunner to carry out construction of the first oil refinery in the country, the U.S. envoy to Uganda, Scot De Lisi, warns that the action could come with negative repercussions for Uganda due to the status of the company, RT Global Resources.
The issues of sanctions, this is something that I'm sure the government's going to have to look at carefully. The refinery deal is not a done deal. They have designated the Russian company as the first on the list, absolutely, but they still have to negotiate a variety of issues that will go to financing and all the rest. I would suggest that you wait and see how that all plays out. There may be, because of the sanctions imposed upon the parent company, there may be problems in terms of financing, ability to operate. We'll see how that works out. It's not my job to tell the government of Uganda with whom they can engage in the world, but it is my job to share with the government U.S. policy, U.S. concerns if there are any, and to define the nature of our partnership.
The ambassador, however, insisted the United States will not interfere with the process that he says is the preserve of Uganda, an independent nation.
We recognize that Uganda, as a sovereign nation, has dealings with many countries around the world. These are choices that every nation has to make. Does Uganda, when it makes those choices to partner with country X or country Y, as a sovereign nation, they will of course be cognizant of the fact that it could have implications for how they work with other nations. We're always all trading off.
In his address to journalists from the embassy in Kampala, the ambassador also questioned reports pointing to an increase in the presence of the Lord's Resistance Movement, a force that he says has been pushed to the wall since the intervention of the United States Army, even as Joseph Kony remains elusive.
We see an organization that probably has fewer than 150 active fighters. How many thousands did they have 10 years ago? We see them broken up into small groups running around, oftentimes merely trying to survive. We see command and control diminished. We have brought countless people off the battlefield in the past 2.5 years that I've been here. The number of defections has been huge, and this in part is, again, a result of the cooperative effort between our folks and the Ugandan military and the others involved.
A recent report on the state of the LRA by Invisible Children points to increased presence of the LRA in the region. On the unending bickering in the neighboring South Sudan, the U.S., according to the ambassador, is closely watching the peace talks, with sanctions to be imposed on the leaders if the ongoing talks do not yield results. The conflict in the world's youngest nation has been ongoing for several months, with most attempts at restoring peace hitting a dead end, as the two principals failed to strike a deal to restore peace. Sabit Joseph, WS Television, from the U.S. Embassy in Kampala.